So we got feet together, feet shoulder width. Soften your hips and knees, meaning letting them bend slightly. Relax your shoulders. Arms come up. Make a big heart shape. Bottom of the heart, front of the real heart. We work our way from top to bottom. So fingers loose, arms loose. And push down to the ground. Head up, chin up. Arch your back. Arms down, chin down, round your back. Rounding and arching from the arch of the lower back, and rounding of the back. Inhale. Exhale. Eyes are heavy. Vision is soft and blurry. Take the tension off your eyes. Try to breathe through your nose as we come up. Try to exhale through your nose as you come down. So every time I try to relax and release more tension on the muscles, inhale, tongue up. Exhale, tongue drops. That keeps the mouth moist as you keep breathing through your nose. Inhale. As you push down, try to pull back on the abdomen. Squish the muscles together against the organs. Inhale. Exhale. So by now we start feeling like a wave, a big ocean wave, kind of connecting from the hands to the shoulders, to the spine, to the hips, to the feet. Inhale. Exhale. So your hips and knees were bent from the start because we needed that to be stable. Squeeze the thighs right here as if you're holding a beach ball. Don't move the knees and thighs, just squeeze by gently bending. Inhale. Keep working our way down. Squish the stomach, squeeze the thighs, shift back onto the heels. So when we begin, we shift a bit towards the ball of our foot. We do that by moving the hips forward. And then we're flat on the foot about here. And then as we push down, our weight shifts more to the heel. And then we keep rocking back and forth. So as to challenge our balance just ever so much. So again, we'll do this a couple more times, then we'll move on. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So this exercise does three things for us. It gives us a little bit of exercise as far as stretching our arms, our shoulders, our rib cage. Challenges our balance. So that's like the physical part. Then we engage a bit more in our breathing, becoming aware of how deep we're breathing and exhaling. And then the third thing is all these details give our thoughts something to anchor upon. So if you're thinking about your arms and shoulders and your hips, everything being in the right spot, chances are you're occupying more thought with that than you are with other stuff that maybe is not so less stressful, right? So let's do two more. And breathe in, a little slower, a little deeper. Inhale. And exhale. So if we were finishing, whenever we finish any particular set, we go the other way now. We go out, we go up, your chin looks up to the left, your eyes and chin, and then we bring our chin and our focus down. Then we do it again, splash, look up and to the right, and chin down in front, and then straight up, and then push down as you breathe out. So the idea is moving those top few vertebrae. You got, between your shoulders and the base of your skull, there's like 7 vertebrae. We don't move them as much unless we're very deliberate about it. Those top 2, the atlas and the axis, are the ones that you're gonna twist. You go side to side. And that part of your spine actually affects the whole series of them all the way down. So now we go on to this next thing, which is more about this, again, kind of imagery, like you're thinking you have this big beach ball. But here's our reference point of our nose and about level with our navel. And then as we come across, that ball gets smaller. And it's like we're pushing it out the window. So my wrist, my elbow, my shoulder, all are relaxed, but they have a bend to them. Then we do the same thing going back. So nose and navel. As you come across, the ball gets smaller, and then like you're pushing it out the window. Wrist, elbow, and shoulder are bent. This bottom arm is also bent at the shoulder, wrist, and elbow. Bottom one's just kind of gentle, right? Flip it over. So now we start to engage like our breath. This is like we're pulling our breath in through the nose. Push away, breathe out through the nose again. Flip it over. Pull the breath in. Squish the breath out. So this has to stay relaxed, especially right here, between your base of your ear all the way to your shoulder. That muscle, if we tense up like this, we're gonna have a lot of neck, issues with this. Tension in the neck gives us headaches sometimes. So try to keep your shoulders down and relaxed as we go side to side. If that's all good, we start to shift our hips now and go a little wider too. So I shift to the right and I grab that beach ball. So going the other way now, it's the feet pushing the hips. Hips turn the spine moves the shoulders and arms. So now we're on this side, left side. Pull the breath in. Push with the ball of your left foot. If you can exaggerate that left ball of your foot pushing all the way to the right hand. Pull the breath in. Push with your right ball of your foot so that it comes out all the way at your left hand. So again, inhale, push across, exhale. Pull the breath in, inhale, exhale. So I'm very deliberate with all this. I'm making sure the hands are in the right spot. It's the feet to the waist, to the shoulders, to the hand, just like you're squeezing a tube of toothpaste. Bottom of your foot here is the bottom of the toothpaste tube. You're squishing it all the way to get the toothpaste to come out. This would be the opening with your hand right here. So really it's the blood and the energy that we're getting to squish through the body. So this is really our ward-off exercise that we practice often in the Tai Chi sets. Except sometimes the hand will be here and here, and our feet will be here. So it's just a variation of it. So it's just a couple more times. So again, pull the ball in. Everything's loose and relaxed. Push the ball out the window. Flip it over. Pull the ball in. Push the ball out. So this leads us to another exercise that's almost the exact same thing, but it has a few other things to challenge us. So we got our arm up, like you're raising your hand, other hand by your elbow. Sink down. Shift your weight so that your right foot can tap once, twice as you reach it out. Hand to your shoulder, shift your weight, hand across. So this has a little bit of timing now. When your feet come together, that's when your arm comes up to your elbow and straight up. Sink down. Next one, touch, reach. Next one is hand to your shoulder, shift your weight, push the ball out the window. So a moment ago, your hand was here, like you're pushing this way. Now the hand is more up with the fingertips. So again, this will be 1, all the way to this, like sinking down. 2, let's take the weight off the left, or the right foot rather, and touch it, and then reach. 3, hand to your shoulder as you shift your hips. 4, hand comes across. So what we're trying to emulate here is an ocean wave. It's like the ocean wave kind of popping up, settling down, and then rolling up the beach. We break it into 4 parts for a few more times. So this is 1, 2 is touching twice, 3 is shifting, 4 is the wave reaching up the shore. 1, 2, 3, 4. If this is all fine, we start to add a little more balance exercise, balance part of it here, where we go from here, try and lift your foot and knee, and then touch down. And then shift across. So now we got 1, all the way to here. 2, again, touch twice. 3, 4, 1. So the way we try to balance is by sinking this left leg and hip, bending at the knee and the hip, and then you're more stable to try to lift up. Set it down gently, reach out gently, shift across. So this would be all one breath. This would be inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. If you need to take another breath, please take another breath, but if you can stretch it into 1, that's the goal. If this is all fine, with the shoulders and everything staying relaxed, we take your right hand and wave with your left hand staying by your elbow. So I'm waving and then dipping my head, and then I'm back to the start. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this extra part is here, wave with the other hand staying by your elbow, dip your chin, round your back, feet snap together, kind of pop up, sink down, shift across. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So everything's loose, everything's relaxed. Again, it's supposed to be kind of like a wave, it's water, so everything has to stay loose. Inhale, oop, exhale. In, out. So I can take 2 breaths if I break it down that way. In, out. So let's do 2 more. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, to finish it up, splash, flick, breathe in and out, in, slower, breathe out, in, out. So always slower and longer is the goal, but you decide what you're comfortable with. Let's go on to the next thing. So if we start here with our feet together, 2 of these tiles is about where we're trying to go. Shift from your left hip to your right hip. So that's the feet. The waist is sunk. Pick up a big beach ball, keeping your elbows and shoulders low and relaxed. You're holding a big beach ball, you try to turn your upper body. Keep the lower body where it's at. Then we go to the left side. Feet, waist, arms. So really, when we do the side-to-side movement, the other foot, this one's going to stay straight, foot, knee, and hip. This foot turns on a little bit of an angle, so it's pointing towards the corner. And then we come up, and then we gently twist. Then we go back, toe straight. So once I shift, this foot, knee, and hip turn a little bit now towards that corner. So it looks like a number 7 if you look down. Pick up the ball again. Relax and gently twist your torso like a big spring. Then we go straight again. Shift. This foot, squish the ball of your foot. Turn the whole hip. Or whatever you're comfortable with. Hold the ball, nose and navel, squish it. The hands switch. You end up with one by your face, the other by your right hip, and you look at that hand. And then we go back to the left side. So it's feet, squish the bug, sink your hips. Here's the big ball again, squish it, stretch it, one by your face, one by your hip. Next set. So now we go a little closer. Turn the toes in, turn the knees in, It's all coming from the hip. Arms together. Try to touch the walls. So there's going to be some tension across your spine and your shoulders with this, and your arms. And then relax your elbows. And look straight. Then we go toes straight, or toes out rather, heels straight. And there's our horse stance. Now we hug. Hug the big tree. So back to the start. About 2 tiles. If you're taller, 2 tiles is good. If you're a little smaller, shorter, you might need to be in a little bit. Decide what feels comfortable. So this one is called the buckle stance because your knee buckles. And then we're just holding the beach ball. Letting the breath out. Left side. Left knee buckled. Hold the big beach ball. This is T. Your feet, if you look down, look like a T. The arms, we call this divide heaven and earth. One hand towards the sky, one hand towards the earth, right? All these exercises have these fancy metaphors. We do the other side. So this one, toes in, knees in, is called press the poles. It's like North Pole, South Pole. I usually just say reach for the walls, right? Sink down. Toes out, heels straight. This is embrace the big tree. Now we pivot to the right. Step across to the right so your legs are crossed. If you don't like that, your knees don't like it, you can kind of be here. This is where we're trying. Now your arms, like a big needle here, you thread the needle. This top hand twists, this bottom hand pushes. Your whole torso turns a little bit to the front. So that whole thing put together is called twist like a rope. So we do the other side. Step across, thread the needle, twist, push, relax your shoulders, turn to the front. Next one. Feet, shoulder width. Here's our cat stance again. Scoop up the ball. Same thing like at the very beginning, like a big beach ball. And then dip your shoulders to the left. And then look at your hand. Turn. Shift. Scoop up the ball. Hold it above your head. So this one down here, this is your cat stance. This is very common throughout what we do. Almost every exercise you seem to see a cat stance. This thing up here, we call this the crescent moon. It's a big C shape. Then we come to here. So everything kind of moves to the right to get started. Cat stance, catch the ball, lift the ball. So most of the weight's on my right leg. So I'm again going to try to lift the left side. Set the foot down, shift your hips. So now I'm kind of squared over my left leg. Hold the big beach ball, squish it, lift it up. That's fine. Try to lift the leg up. I think that's as far as we went last time. So we come back down. We're going to come over to here. This arm is above the head. This hand is in front of your navel. And you gently turn to the front. So that's another version of that ride the tiger exercise we do. Shift to the left. Spin the big ball. And your hands end up on the other side. So hand above your head, hand above your navel. The hands pull back at the wrist joint. Because if we just had them straight like this, like a punch, that's fine. It does develop some hand and wrist strength. But when we do this now, pull the wrist back, now it engages a whole different series of muscles and tendons with that. Bending the wrist. All right, let's try it again from the beginning. We got a couple more minutes before break time. So feet, waist, hands as we breathe out. So my breath starts about here as far as inhaling, and then I exhale at the end. Feet, inhale, waist. Exhale with the hands. Feet, inhale. Exhale by the time you get to the hands. Toes in, knees in, hips, inhale. Exhale. Toes, heels, hips, inhale. Exhale. Feet, waist, arms as you exhale. And then if you can twist the whole torso, you're trying to go to the front. Come back, feet, waist. Here's the needle. Forward arm, which would be your right, threads the needle. Relax and twist. Back foot comes around. I shift left and I pick up the ball. I shift right, I put my weight on the right hip. My arms finish. Crescent moon. Toes up. Turn the hip. Toes out. Scoop up the ball. Scoot back. Crescent moon on the right side. Back to the front. Shift. Everything goes to the right. Squish the ball. Lift the ball. And this hand's by your elbow, kind of like to help support it. If this arm just stays on its own, we engage a certain amount of muscles on the left side of our body. When this arm comes across to find the elbow, now both sides across the back are engaged as far as the muscles go. And then we lift. Everything goes to the left. Feet, waist. Lift the ball to the right. Try to balance if you may. Set the foot down. So just like we did a moment ago, I tap, and then I reach, and then I shift across. Here's this big ball again. Squish it. Fist above the head. Fist in front of the navel. Shoulders relax. Turn the spine. Feet to the left. Hips to the left. Spin the ball to the other side. Wrists pull back. Turn to the front. So we're almost at the end. We're getting close. This back foot slides in. We shift the weight. There's cat stance again. Remember how we did like the plucking of the carrot kind of thing? We bring the hands out like so, and then they turn. Open. Pull back. Toes up. Turn. Toes out. Turn. Cat stance. Pluck. Pull the wrists back as you sink. Splash. Lift up. Push down. Splash. Look up. Push down. Splash. Look up. Push down. So hopefully you're starting to see how there's patterns with this stuff. It's like, oh, there's a piece and part that we're doing from the long set, the Tai Chi 48 that we're working on now. You're going to see Ride the Tiger. You're going to see the hands like this, the Bagua stance. So it's like protecting your face and protecting your ribs in case something was coming towards you. So now we got our Tai Chi stuff. When we start this, I like to show this little half circle because it takes a little bit more effort and awareness to now make that half circle. This is a small little detail, but you're aware of it. Shift left and right, sink your hips a little bit. Arms float up, arms sink down. So now everything goes back to that beach ball with your nose in your navel. And you shifting your feet to your hips, hips to your spine and shoulders, shoulders to the hands. And then we pull the ball in, shift to the right, feet, waist, arms back to the center. This is our grounded, our most stable position. We roll the ball down. So let's move a step over here. So this first one is kind of a pointing or poking motion. So it gets the label of metal. Second one is kind of a pulling, even though it's going down, that's wood. Shifting to the left is water. The opposite of that is fire. It's the same exercise, just going to the right. Stable. Center is earth. So we have an action. We got, up or forward. We got down and back. Shifting to the left. Shifting to the right. And then center. So those are the actions. The elements were metal, water, wood, water's to the left, fire to the right, earth in the center. All right? So that's the idea with that. We pivot to the right, cat stance, nose and navel, step with your heel, shift your weight. Here's our ward off. Roll back is going to be a little different. With this time, we're going to do it here. So I just still kind of do like a splash, and then roll the ball with your palms facing each other. Find your pulse, shift with your shoulder, your elbow, your wrists, pull, push, and then we got our split. So this is pretty much what we've been doing all along. It's just that little difference with the hands. So that's ward off, little splash, roll with your palms facing one another, lean with your shoulder, poke with your elbow, press with your wrist. A little plucking motion, a little flick, all the way to your hips. When we finish, your shoulders are down, your hands are in front of your shoulders, the shoulder and neck are all relaxed. We turn, one hand's open, one's pinched. There's our split. So again, we got the action of ward off, roll back, bumping with the shoulder, poking with the elbow, pressing with the wrists. This is pulling, pushing, splitting. So those are the actions. Then again, we got our theme, or our philosophy, our poetry. This is heaven, because it's expanding out and up. Earth is grounding. Shoulder is a mountain. Elbow is a canyon. The bottom is water, the wrists. This is wood. This is fire, sometimes called metal. They two overlap. And then this one is thunder. As it sound splitting, the sound is splitting. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Turn, feet, waist, arms, in, out. So we'll do one more from here. Pull the breath in, push the breath out. Roll the breath in, shoulder, push the breath out. In, out. In, out. So again, just a little quick splash, flick, push down, a little slower, stretching the neck, stretching the shoulders, and push down. So we also have a new concept that we've been working on. It's this in block. Whenever we go across the center of our body, that's called an in block, because you're coming in. When we go out, away from the center of our body, we'll be doing this or this. That would be out block. So we got in, we got out. So with this in, we also have this other hand which does a chop. So again, they kind of pass by one another. And this hand comes back to the side. So I come in block, to the opposite corner, and then I try to get my other hand to take its place with that chop. In the process, I do a little bit of this scrubbing where I make contact with my sides or my forearms sometimes. That creates friction on the sides here, on the sides of the organs. In block, chop. So wherever there's friction, you get heat. Heat makes more circulation in that area. Okay, so now we got the set. We can start with our feet together. Going to the left, there's our little half circle again. We float up. We sink down. Feet, waist, hands. Draw back. Feet. Shift the waist. I do a shoulder, elbow, wrist to the side, that's the hands. And then one more time, feet, drags in, sink, and the arms split. So I'm not going to do that every time, but that's how that detail breaks down. There's an in block, another in block. Step with your heel. Catch the ball by your right side, let it drop, roll it on the ground as you brush your knee. That's what that's called. Push the palm. Toes come and turn to the kitchen over here. Nose and navel, shoulder, elbow, press. Toes up, hand up. Turn the feet, the waist. Hands come all the way over to here and they split. Feet come together and then apart. There's the feet, there's the waist. Strum the guitar. A little plucking motion, extra credit, toes down, heel down. And then we go to the front. And here's what I was talking about, the in block, chop. Turn your toes and knees, there's the cat stance. That whole thing repeats. So we got 1, 2, adjust the toes, knees, and hips. 3. All right, so let's start it from the beginning. So everybody's at the same spot here. So again, looking forward, make the little half circle, shift side to side, shift forward, shift back as you sink into your hips. Dot, it's like a little dot with your toes, shoulder, elbow, wrist, arms split. There's the white crane spreads its wings. In block, in block. Brush knee as you press your palm. Turn to the corner, the kitchen here. Shoulder, elbow, press. Fingers up, toes up. Here's our split as you breathe out. In block. Strum the guitar. Extra little balance exercise in there. So this again is kind of like this seesaw. It goes back and forth. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Shoulder, elbow, wrist. Exhale. That's 1. Inhale. Exhale. Shoulder, elbow, wrist. Exhale. That's 2. You're going to do it 3 times. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then to finish it, we do 1, 2. Cat stance, scoop. So here's that out block, followed with an in block. They go as a set. It's just that it's one and then the other. And then we punch. Turn the foot, catch up, cat stance. Here's our ward off. Roll back. Shoulder, elbow press. Pull. Push. Turn to the front. There's our cat stance with the foot to the side again. Scrub your forearms against one another. Right? It's only like, one time. You do it to your shoulder, to your other shoulder. Split the circle open, turn the wrists out. There's our exercise from earlier. Ride the tiger. Shift forward. Back a little bit. Protect your face and your ribs. There's the Bagua stance. Other foot comes forward. Let me do this again here. So after we finished Ride the Tiger, this comes back and it's really 1, 2. There's our Bagua stance. And then cat stance. Strum the guitar with your fist this time under the elbow. All kinds of stuff going on there, right? A lot of talking going on. So now we do it with less talking and more breathing focus. So again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Arms are always at the end. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. In. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. Back and forth. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. In. Out. So now it changes. Out block. In block. Punch. Straight out from your elbow. Right here. Cat stance. Here's our basic stuff again. Ward off. Roll back. Shoulder, elbow press. Pull. Push. Toes. Hips. Arms. Same thing going back. Feet, waist. Arms going forward. Feet, waist, arms. Halfway between forward and back. And breathe out. In. Out. In. Out. So that's as far as we've gone so far. I'm trying to do a little bit more. Inhale. Exhale. So as always, take more breaths if you need to. I'm just giving you a pace. Trying to slow it all down. And breathe out. Even though it's slow, we're trying to stay relaxed. And breathe in. And breathe out. And we're mostly looking out. Try not to look at the feet a whole lot. Unless you need to make sure, then try to bring your focus to where you're going, where you're looking out from. From here, it's inhale, exhale, in, out, in, out, side to side, back and forth, in, out. Toes straight, hips straight. Toes and hips to the corner. In, out. Last part. In, out. In, out. In, out. In. Out, in, out, and it changes again, and something a little different for this set, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. This time it's a fist. So from here now, my feet are equal weight on both legs. Lift up, glance over your shoulder, make sure nothing's there. Let your leg cross behind and then uncross as you push to your left hip, to your right hand. We do it again. Look up, look back rather, push and pull. So there's a total of 4 of those, which gets us way back across the room here. And breathe out. One more. And breathe in. And breathe out. So that is the something's coming towards you that's called repulse monkey. you're kind of anchoring yourself on your back leg so as to keep something away from you. So this pushes, this side pulls, and you create this like structure where you're anchored right here. Instead of standing up and you put your hand up and you just get knocked over, it's like you're sinking onto your back hip. So unknowingly, a lot of these exercises help you with your balance and your stability. So if you do get knocked off balance, sometimes you're like, oh, wow, I didn't fall over. I didn't realize that, normally I would have fallen over, but it's because you're used to moving in these different odd directions. When we start doing the side-to-side movements like we've done, this stuff here, the wave arms like clouds exercises, it's really good for your sideways, your lateral balance. You get knocked over going to the side and be able to regain your stability. Okay, last couple things we're going to do, hand exercises. Grip and how well you grip something is also a key factor in balance. Plus, we like to keep writing, as we get older. My mom is now going to be 95 in November. She stopped writing a few years ago. It's just too hard for her. So she pecks on the keyboard and types like that. So I like these kind of exercises because they help with hand and finger issues. So this one here, I'm trying to bend the fingers. You notice my palms stay pretty much straight up and down. I'm just trying to move. Try to get the elbows level if you can, because now you got this part right here where the knuckles in the palm meet. I'm just trying to get that joint to move. Once we can isolate that, now it's the wrist joint. So my forearms stay where they're at. I'm trying to move the fingers and the wrist. It's only going to go so far. And then if you relax your shoulders and come back down to here, you take that tension away from your neck and shoulders, and again, just isolate your fingers. But if the elbows drop, there's less of a tension on everything. So that's why you got to keep the elbows kind of level. So comparable to this is when you're at home somewhere and you have a counter, and you put your hand on the counter, and you just try to, pull your fingers up off the surface that's flat, and you'll feel the same area in that back of your wrist. That's how often people fall. They'll fall on their wrist. That's why this is good to work on it, to get some strength and flexibility. So that's the fingers, that's the wrist. The next one we're going to do is like you're reaching to the sides, and you're trying to get each of your fingers to move. Each finger, each digit, and then your thumb. So I could do squeeze and open, squeeze and open. The problem is, the way the hand and the muscles work, oftentimes when we grip, everything goes at once. And you can't isolate one finger. So here I'm trying to get each finger to move on its own. If that's fine, we turn up. And I'm just relaxing my shoulders. I'm not trying really hard to, extend up and all that. Mostly I'm trying to move each of the finger joints. Yes. So we got forward, we got up, we got down, thumb down. And the same idea, try to get each finger moving, even that little pinky. We think we're moving, but see my pinky, it's like I'm trying to move, but no. We got to get every pinky, every big finger, every thumb, everything. All right, and then we got upside down. I'm trying to turn the whole joint up towards the ceiling. Probably going to get sore up in here in spite of this. So that's to the sides. We got up. It's kind of like I'm crawling. I'm trying to crawl with my fingers up on this front wall. And the same thing, try to get that pinky to move and then turn in. And then try to turn behind each finger, and then all the way out. So you're probably feeling in your shoulders, but it's the hands that we're trying to move. And it's kind of the same idea with everything we've been doing. When you get the fingers to move, and you're moving your arms up, that's where the blood's going. The blood's gonna go where the muscles need it, right? So if I'm just doing this down here, it's good for the fingers, but it's only pulling so much muscle to that part of the body. So arms up, now it's like gravity is fighting against us. So the finger movement's pulling the gravity, or pulling the blood back up against gravity. So then we take our hands here, just do one hand perhaps, and try to squeeze each finger independently. Pinky, ring finger, middle finger, index, thumb. There's your fist. Then you try to go out the same way. One finger at a time, one digit at a time. Seems easy enough, right? We mostly want to just do this. That's our instinct. But to try to get each finger, that's the challenge. And then sometimes, to get like one, to get that one to move, it won't go. Middle finger, we all know about, right? So they're all connected. And that's why, it's harder and harder to make them move independently. So now you'll see with your other hand, one hand might be better or worse than the other. And if that's the case, that would explain, you're left-handed or right-handed, whatever the case may be, right? But then you favor one side. Even if you're not, I'm left-handed, right? But I still favor a lot of things on my right side. I like to stand a little bit to the right. That's just the way it is. So over our lifetime, all these little imbalances start to become more apparent. Whether it's your fingers, your balance, your flexibility, one side's probably going to have a little more than the other side. So that's it for this class. That's the finger exercises. Be well, be safe.